With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Welcome to Astronomy Daily, your comprehensive source for the latest developments in space and astronomy. Today we have a packed show covering some major stories from across the space industry. We'll be diving into recent launch mishaps affecting both SpaceX and Blue Origin, exploring new developments in lunar preservation efforts, and examining a fascinating discovery of a planet that's literally falling apart before our eyes. We'll also look at China's ambitious plans for the moon, get an update on NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory as it recovers from the LA fires, and discuss some significant changes coming to space industry regulation. Stay with me as we explore these fascinating developments that are shaping the future of space exploration and our understanding of the cosmos. Let's get started with today's news. In a significant development for the commercial space industry, the Federal Aviation Administration has opened dual mishap investigations into both SpaceX and Blue Origin following partial failures of their respective rockets. The incidents occurred during this week's test flights of SpaceX's Starship and Blue Origin's New Glenn vehicles. Starting with SpaceX, their latest Starship test flight ended dramatically when the upper stage lost communications and subsequently exploded during its 7th test flight. The incident occurred approximately 8.5 minutes after launch from their Starbase facility in Texas. SpaceX has reported that preliminary data suggests a fire developed in the aft section of the ship, leading to what they diplomatically termed a rapid, unscheduled disassembly. Elon Musk later provided additional details, indicating that an oxygen and fuel leak in the cavity above the ship's engine firewall may have been the root cause. While the explosion created quite a spectacle visible as far as Turks and Caicos, fortunately, there have been no reported injuries. However, the FAA is still investigating potential property damage and flight disruptions to commercial aircraft. As for Blue Origin, their maiden launch of the New Glenn rocket encountered problems during the attempted recovery of its first stage booster. While the initial launch from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station went according to plan, the booster failed to successfully land on Blue Origin's cargo ship as intended. In response to these incidents, the FAA has effectively grounded both vehicles until the companies can demonstrate their safety for future flights. This means both SpaceX and Blue Origin must complete thorough investigations, implement any necessary corrective actions, and receive FAA approval before returning to flight operations. It's worth noting that this isn't the first time SpaceX has faced such scrutiny. Following Starship's first launch attempt in April 2023, the FAA mandated 63 corrective actions before allowing subsequent launches. Despite these setbacks, SpaceX remains optimistic, with Musk suggesting they could be ready for another launch attempt as early as next month. The silver lining for SpaceX was the successful capture of the Super Heavy booster by the launch tower's catching arms, demonstrating that at least some aspects of their innovative recovery system are working as intended. This partial success, amid the overall mission failure, highlights the inherently challenging nature of developing new space launch systems. In a significant development for commercial spaceflight regulation, President-elect Trump's nominee for Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, has committed to reviewing the FAA's recent fines against SpaceX for launch license violations. The fines, totaling over $633,000, were issued for violations during 2 separate missions in 2023. The specific violations included using an unauthorized control center, failing to conduct required pre-launch procedures, and utilizing an unapproved propellant tank farm. SpaceX has pushed back against these penalties, arguing that the violations didn't compromise public safety and pointing to delays in the FAA's license modification process. During his confirmation hearing before the Senate Commerce Committee, Duffy faced pointed questions about these fines. Committee Chairman Ted Cruz expressed particular concern, arguing that such penalties work against U.S. law's mandate to encourage and facilitate commercial space activities. Cruz characterized the fines as not just corrosive, but potentially counter to legislative intent. Looking beyond just the SpaceX situation, there's growing discussion about potential restructuring of space launch oversight. Some industry observers are speculating about the possibility of moving the Office of Commercial Space Transportation out of the FAA, making it a standalone entity directly under the Department of Transportation. Such a move could potentially streamline the regulatory process and provide the office with additional resources. The debate highlights the ongoing challenge of balancing safety oversight with the need to foster innovation in the commercial space sector. With the rapid growth of private space companies and increasingly ambitious mission profiles, the regulatory framework governing these activities has become a crucial factor in the industry's development. This review could have far-reaching implications for how commercial space activities are regulated in the coming years, potentially reshaping the relationship between private space companies and their government overseers. Let's move on to a couple news stories surrounding our moon. In a groundbreaking move that underscores growing concerns about preserving space heritage, the moon has been added to the World Monuments Fund Global Watch List. This marks the first time in history that an extraterrestrial body has been included on this prestigious list of heritage sites requiring protection and preservation. While the initial nomination focused solely on Tranquility Base, the historic Apollo 11 landing site, the final designation was expanded to encompass the entire moon. This comprehensive approach acknowledges over 90 distinct sites that represent humanity's presence on the lunar surface, from the first Russian probe that made contact in 1959 to the footprints left by Apollo astronauts. The timing of this designation is particularly crucial as we enter a new era of lunar exploration. With multiple commercial missions planned and NASA's Artemis program on the horizon, there's mounting concern about potential damage to these irreplaceable historic sites. The threats range from lunar dust displacement caused by nearby landings to the possibility of looting valuable artifacts from sites like the Apollo landing areas. Space archaeologist Dr. Alice Gorman emphasizes that the increased traffic to the moon poses significant risks. The sharp, abrasive lunar dust can gradually wear away at these cultural heritage sites, even from activities conducted at a considerable distance. There's also growing concern about the commercial space tourism industry and future lunar mining operations potentially impacting these historic locations. The designation serves multiple purposes beyond mere recognition. It puts the international space community on notice and highlights the urgent need for protective measures. Experts are now calling for the implementation of environmental impact assessment processes similar to those we use on Earth, to ensure commercial operators are held accountable for preserving these sites. This move comes at a critical juncture, with several commercial lunar missions already underway or planned for the near future. Companies like Firefly, iSpace, Intuitive Machines, and others are all preparing to make their mark on the lunar surface. The challenge now lies in balancing this new wave of exploration with the preservation of humanity's existing lunar heritage. As space archaeologists and preservation experts work to establish robust international regulations, the message is clear. The moon's historic sites belong to all of humanity and deserve protection for future generations. This isn't just about preserving physical artifacts. It's about safeguarding humanity's first steps into space exploration. And in other moon news, China is taking lunar exploration to new heights with an innovative plan to plant what could be the first ever fluttering flag on the moon's surface. As part of their upcoming Chang'e 7 mission planned for 2026, Chinese scientists have developed a groundbreaking solution to make a flag wave in the moon's airless environment. The team at China's Deep Space Exploration Laboratory has engineered a clever workaround to the challenge of creating movement without wind. Their design incorporates closed-loop wires embedded within the flag's surface that can carry two-way electrical current. Through the careful manipulation of electromagnetic fields, these wires will create a fluttering effect, bringing the flag to life in the lunar vacuum. This technological achievement is just one component of the broader Chang'e 7 mission, which aims to explore the moon's south polar region in search of water ice. The mission represents another significant step in China's ambitious lunar exploration program, which includes plans for the International Lunar Research Station, a collaborative project with Russia and other international partners. Looking further ahead, the Chinese space program envisions establishing a comprehensive scientific facility on the lunar surface by 2035. This facility is being designed for long-term autonomous operation with the capability to support periodic human presence, marking a significant milestone in China's expanding space capabilities. Zhang Tianzhu, deputy head of the Institute of Future Technology at the Deep Space Exploration Laboratory, and his team are working diligently to complete the development of this unique payload by February, demonstrating China's commitment to pushing the boundaries of space technology while creating visually striking demonstrations of their lunar presence. Now, a little update to a story we covered earlier this week. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory is set to resume normal operations next week, following a tense period of closure due to the devastating Los Angeles wildfires. The facility, nestled at the base of the San Gabriel Mountains, had been under threat from the Eaton fire, which has caused widespread destruction in neighboring communities, particularly in Altadena. Since January 8th, JPL has maintained only essential operations, ensuring the continued function of critical missions like the Perseverance and Curiosity Mars rovers. With the immediate danger now past, the laboratory will begin a phased reopening starting Tuesday, January 21st. While the facility is reopening its doors to all personnel who need to work on site, officials are encouraging those who can work remotely to continue doing so while final cleanup efforts are completed. While the laboratory itself emerged unscathed from the fires, the impact on JPL's workforce has been severe. Over 1,000 employees remain evacuated from their homes, with more than 150 families having lost their houses completely. JPL Director Lori Leshin has initiated disaster relief efforts to support affected workers, including those from both JPL and the California Institute of Technology, which manages the facility for NASA. The broader fire situation in Los Angeles remains challenging. The Eaton fire has consumed over 14,000 acres, but is now 65% contained. However, the larger Palisades fire continues to pose significant challenges, having burned nearly 24,000 acres, with only 31% containment. Despite these ongoing challenges, JPL's return to operations marks a positive step forward in the recovery process for this crucial space exploration facility. Next up, in a groundbreaking discovery, astronomers have identified what they're calling the fastest disintegrating planet ever observed. Using NASA's TESS satellite, scientists have found a world that's literally falling apart at an astronomical rate, losing the equivalent of a moon's worth of material every million years. Located just 141 light years away, this makes it the closest crumbling planet we've ever discovered. The planet, designated BD plus 054868 AB, is giving astronomers an unprecedented opportunity to peek inside the normally hidden interior of a terrestrial world. It's as if the planet is performing an autopsy on itself, spilling its guts into space for us to study. This remarkable find has caught the attention of two research teams who are now planning to use the James Webb Space Telescope to investigate further. What makes this planet particularly special is its proximity to its star and the dramatic way it's disintegrating. The planet orbits so close to its star that it completes a full orbit in just over 30 hours. This creates an enormous dust tail stretching an incredible 5.6 million miles, which actually blocks about 1% of its star's light when it passes in front of it. The dust trail itself tells a fascinating story, splitting into two distinct sections. Leading the planet is a trail of larger particles similar to desert sand, while following behind is a finer dust more like soot. This cosmic light show lasts for an impressive 15 hours during each transit. The planet's future, however, is rather grim. With only about a moon's worth of mass remaining and losing material at such a catastrophic rate, we're literally witnessing the final chapter in this world's existence. Scientists consider us incredibly fortunate to catch this cosmic event, as it represents one of only 4 known disintegrating planets among the more than 6,000 confirmed exoplanets in NASA's catalog. What makes this discovery even more valuable for researchers is that the host star is approximately 100 times brighter than similar systems we've studied before. This unprecedented brightness will allow scientists to gather extremely detailed data about the planet's composition and destruction process, potentially revealing new insights about planetary formation and evolution throughout our galaxy. And that's all for today's episode of Astronomy Daily. I'm Anna, and I want to thank you for joining me on this journey through the latest developments in space exploration and astronomical discoveries. If you'd like to stay up to date with all things space and astronomy, visit us at astronomydaily.io. There you can sign up for our free daily newsletter and access our constantly updating newsfeed. You'll also find all our previous episodes available for streaming. Connect with us on social media by searching for Astro Daily Pod on Facebook, X, YouTube Music, and TikTok. And yes, we are still there. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, keep looking up and wondering about the mysteries of our universe. This has been Astronomy Daily.